All right, time for weekly outlook. This week's tough, especially for me. Uh, I trade primarily levels, right, that we get from the market profile, volume profile, and I roll over on Sunday, right, going into Sunday. So this is essentially what I'm working with, essentially a 200-point gap on NQ and 50-point gap on ES. Uh, so the way I typically do this, um, yes, I'll look at both. I'll watch both, right? And I don't back adjust, so I keep this gap there. Um, so I still watch both. It's just I prioritize maybe more of the current session's MGI a little more, right? Whether it be the opening print, an opening range, right? Whether you use a 30-second, a 5 minute, 10, 15, like I don't really care. I prefer a 5 or a 30 second, or whether we work off the initial balance or the developing volume profile. Um, that's what I'll rely on a little more, and maybe a little bit more on the footprint and maybe the order flow that goes on at certain levels. So I'll be watching both. Because we were in what, a 4 day balance last week to end the week. Uh, Last week was pretty balanced, missing a little bit of excess or a little. I would have hoped for a little more excess down at the lows. Um, but with the roll, we gapped up away from value. Currently, Globex trying to trade back down to it. Seems like sometimes levels will line up, right? Like this spike on the rolled over contract or this upper end of value that we established last week sort of lines up with maybe a tiny shelf that we had Friday at like 510, 500s. So sometimes levels will line up, but they won't. A lot of them won't. So we'll we'll be watching both. Um, I'll probably prioritize a little bit more of the March contract, right? More closely resembles SPY and QQQs for now. Um, and when looking at those, we're just still rotational, right? This is what last week's profile looks like, composite. We clearly see the upper end, clearly see the lower end, right? Also where value area high and value area low are, which helps. But clearly continuing to be rotational. Maybe it stays rotational until the FOMC, but we'll see what happens. So I'll work with this primarily, um, and this on ES, right? It's sort of down to the 70, 55, 77s, and we'll watch the upper end of last week's action as well as Friday's spike. Um, like, do I really want to? I don't want to be forced to get in a long. Like, I'm not gonna have it trade down here into the lower end of where we spent or lower end of value of last week and say like, okay, I'm gonna swing long. I still think you go make some excess down here. I would actually maybe don't think we do, but I would really like to go see that. I was waiting for this low kind of all week. Didn't ever happen. But anyway, essentially just working with this and what we do up against it. Okay. Right. Whether it's trade back over it and establish some value, or whether it's the quick move back up to, let's say, value from that we established 2 weeks ago, right up here, or whether we not accept, but trade back below this, fail to get back over and go see the shelf on the composite, or perhaps even lower, right, down into maybe some of these levels and this level down here. Right, maybe I should mark that off. Um, so pretty simple, I'd say, to start the week. That's really, really simple roadmap on both. Uh, it's just the rollover really, really messes with my head. I don't know how it is for you guys, but we'll see what happens. Um, like I said, I'll rely more so on the current session's MGI. Prioritize that. I'll be watching both charts. Probably be executing on the June, and we'll go from there. I'll upload a video after each session this week only because of the rollover. And I think we really need to be working with, not really, but I think it's just going to be easier to work with value or what we've established the prior session. So we'll do one after Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just to navigate this week, right? And I'm not in a position here to like really, you know, really put on some longer term positions. It's really tough trading down here. So no idea what we're gonna do or where we're gonna be at the end of this week or in 2 weeks and 3 weeks and next month. Um, so this week we'll take it day to day and we'll go with that. I think that's the best way to go about it, honestly. And get in trades and get out of trades. Maybe swing a couple runners if you're get positioned in a good spot. But other than that, pretty quick outlook, pretty simple, and yeah, we'll go from there. So have a great rest of your week.